Yo, Jesse with Bowman Land Clearing. So right now I'm getting everything prepped for a mulching job that's a pretty good ways away. So we're gonna go ahead and put these new style knives on, and I'd like to use these, but it just takes me too long to grind them up, and they're leaving like that much material left. So I can probably use them later on. I may try to take a bunch of these. I mean, I've got a bunch over there piled up. I got some piled over here. We'll eventually probably grind them so that way we can use them for rocky jobs, or we're going to be in like some junk or something like that. That's kind of like beater teeth, like a beater mulcher head. So we're going to take and put these on. So these are a different style than the other ones I have. So these are the ones I get from Rowmec. You know, you can see how thick they are. Same style. So they're a little bit thinner. So we're gonna put these on, check it out, get everything greased. We got a job in Decatur, Alabama. We also got some in Signal Mountain and Decatur, Tennessee as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the one in Decatur, Alabama done. Go ahead and get these knives on, get everything greased, everything, because tomorrow's Saturday, so I'm helping my dad with our chicken houses to get them prepped and cleaned out. And then we're gonna hook up to the gooseneck and probably bring the excavator first, and then bring this Sunday. So we'll be hauling all day Sunday for the job, and I'll be staying there, so stay tuned for that. And so we're going to go ahead and get this swapped out. That way we can go ahead and get everything ready, and then we'll be ready for the job. We'll be doing some excavation, digging trenches, and then mulching, but also pulling stuff out of a dozer pile where they pushed everything up for like some deer hunting areas. So they used a dozer to push it up. We're going to get it cleaned up and mulch behind it. Got my phone light here, so I'm trying to always racing before it gets too dark, which I had some mud off that pond job we did, so it's packing behind there. But these freaking mosquitoes are out. These seem to be tucked nice, and they're a lot lighter than the old ones over there. So I really like these so far, but I'm just not really sure on how the material is going to hit something, you know, nice, clean. So we're going to go ahead and put these on, and then I'm going to try to scrape the dirt off because I don't want it to get wadded up in there at the drum or something like that, the bearings, or because that's what sucked about this one, because I was hitting it with a sledgehammer over and over and over to break them loose, and they just would not. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get that these all back on before it gets too dark. I'm gonna have to go get my snap-on light. It's pretty bright, but we'll get to it. All right, I had to go get the snapping light. That's what saves me too, the snap-on light. I can mount it magnet. But this is why I would turn it, but the Harbor Freight impact is dead from impacting, which is pretty good. I mean, there's 34 knives, and I'm just gonna leave it right here because I think it's these two right here, or either the ones that's right here. I need to re-impact to make sure. Probably just go ahead, I mean, charge it up tonight, and then just go ahead and re-tighten them up. But we got a lot of this right here just underneath it from that pond, so it smells like a pond too. But we're going to go ahead and do everything in the morning, recheck everything, retorque everything. So I say retorque is in good and tight with that right there. It's good enough. It's 3/4. And then I don't know if I showed you or not, but I bought the 3/4 GP sockets. So it's these are 19 or 17. These are 17s that take these off. So I may or may not be getting a Dennis C moth. Was going to just wait, but I'm not sure yet. So that way it'll be better material. It'll be bite limiters. I don't wad up everything, but the problem about bite limiters is they got the little tines right in here, and stuff wraps up. It's got, you know, it's got ways to get in there deep. So that's one thing I'm worried about too, but it'd be better than this. So that way I can rip up material and throw it and mulch it just as fast as this can chew it up. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get up in the morning, do some chicken house work, and then I'll be getting home, get everything prepped for Sunday morning. Then we'll be driving 2 hours one way to drop off equipment. So that way we can go ahead, because I'll probably get up early in the morning, drop the machine off, one of them, and then come back, get the other one loaded, head back, and I'll be getting my 10 by 10 canopy, getting propane stuff, like a grill and food and drinks and stuff like that. So I'll be doing this one by myself. It's just jobs are getting slow and slim, so I'm having to do everything by myself to keep things rolling. So yep. All right, so we are in Huntsville, no, sorry, Decatur, Alabama. 2 hour ride for me. Was a long ride, but you know, you gotta do the work. So I just got the machine unloaded, the excavator's over there, and the skid steer with the mulcher on it, I delivered it Sunday, which was yesterday. So today's Monday. So I got my coolers, chairs, and then I got my grill, and then my little canopy, gas, extra chains, lights. So I will show you shortly. I'm gonna have to back this up. Luckily the neighbor is his neighbor, because we're over there. You can see the excavator over there. We'll be digging a trench, and it will also be mulching for a few days. So we got this. I'm gonna back it up, and I'm gonna back it all the way up here. That way nobody can see it. And so that way I can get stuff done, and then we'll be camping back there away in the back. So let's see if we can't get this turned around, and then I'll show you what we got going on. So luckily I got this thing turned around. It's got a big open area, so putting all my stuff in here now. At the end of the day, I'm gonna bring one of my machines over here and dump it off in front of it, or get me a couple logs and just throw it right there. Like big logs, probably big old trees. We'll go ahead and get the rest of this and get it loaded up. So today's gonna be get what I can done, and then set up camp and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get over there. We'll pull my truck over there, and then get the machine running, warm it up for the skid steer. We're gonna mulch a little bit, and I kind of go over everything real quick. All right, so you can see this road down here. We're digging, but excuse me. So it's washing the driveway out longer down that way. You can kind of start seeing it's getting wet. So it's mounded, but it don't have a trench on the backside. So we're gonna be digging. So we got them coming out. So I'm just ripping the trees out, and then I can do all the digging later. So that way I can get this much done. That's one more step less, or one less step I got to do, but one more step ahead. That way when they come in here, they can, you know, I think they said they're going to come in the next few days, so that'll be perfect. That'll give me time to get back here and do all the mulching. I'm gonna go ahead and rip up the rest of this stuff right here, and we're gonna leave it here, and then we're gonna come back later at the end of the day and pile this stuff up down that way and mulch it up. So let's get to it. Got the machine. The driveway's pretty decently long, but luckily it's not too big of a ditch or nothing like that. See, it's already ditched up all the way down here. See, because it's not washing this out. So he's wanting me to do something like this, mound it up higher on this side, and then, you know, I may take the mulcher and just kind of take some of this. So we're gonna go back and forth, because there's a bunch of stuff I got to do before I can get in there. he wanted me to widen this corner out, so there's a house there and we go down that way. So got the machine warming up. I'm gonna have to bring it over here and fuel it up. I have like 3/4 tank. So I'm gonna have to go get some diesel later on. So I got the excavator there, and we're gonna start heading that way. I'm not gonna be able to go to the job site because there's a ditch, but he's got a area where he pulls his. He's got a skid steer with a brush cutter, I think it is, or a bucket, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to fix the road. So I'm gonna take all that down there and mulch it up, and then that way I'll have some material, and then I can use that stuff right there too. And I'm gonna get this too. That way I'll have some firewood. So yep, slowly but surely get going. And I'm gonna take a bunch of dead stuff. There's a bunch of good material in there. I'm gonna let it sit out in the sun to dry out, then throw that stuff on once I get the old stuff burning. So we should be pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get the skid steer. I forgot to impact some of the teeth. I got everything full in here. Can't wait to get a service deck bed one day, surely. I'm gonna impact the teeth because there's like 3 of them that I needed impact. There it is. Got a bunch of snacks, and then got my covers and stuff like that. I wished I had a pop-up camper or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then check all my fluids and everything else. Make sure everything's good. Hydraulic fluid, coolant, all that good junk. Well, I thought I had the thing recording, but I didn't. So I ripped up this whole corner. They have tractors and stuff like that come in, so I'm trying to get all the stuff cleaned up. So what's happening, I cut me up some firewood. I'm gonna cut this up a little bit. There's a lot of poison oak. I'm trying not to dig in on the first day, so I'm gonna cut this in half and then bring it down there with me. And once I get all that, this is good and dry. So get the machine filled up, and then the problem is, I told him, I said, you need to come in here and take all these most of these junky trees out. So he's just doing what he can with what he's got. So I'm gonna come in with a mulcher and just kind of hit this little twigs. Literally take a second. So this ditch that comes right here is pretty soft. I think it's because it's topsoil, and because they didn't do any building up or nothing, or any base, so it's washing down this way. So I'm trying to make it to where if it does, because it goes that way. And then they had this big old tree fell in here, and it was washing over, because you can see the wash over. So I made it bigger, but also right here, so because it's curved, so I made it deeper. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna take it back here, and I may try to, if it's not too wet, it's probably soaked. You can see right here that it's washing all the way down there, but right in here is where it kind of spider webs, because I think it's all the leaves. I mean, it's at least 2 to 3 inches, and it's just spider webbing. So his property is just right down in here, and it cuts off like it, I think as it goes down, the driveway goes towards his property. So right in here, we're going to divert the water, because see, it comes right here, and then you see right in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in and mulch. I'm gonna try to find me a little spot to come in and just cut down straight, and then I'm gonna dig this out, so that way if it floods, then it'll have somewhere to go. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna cut it right down in here, make it about 1.5 feet. That way it diverts the water, because not only that water right here, the trench from the water, when it overfills or floods, washes that lower side. And then when we get down there, I'll show you, because the driveway is completely washed out, and there's a culvert that's been there for a while. It's probably at least a 12 or 15 inch diameter, probably more than that. It's probably a 15, 20, 25, somewhere in there of a diameter, and it's completely washed it. So we're gonna go down there, we're gonna try to fix it, so that way I can get my truck down there, because I gotta cross over it, and then we gotta go down it. So I have to take this and do some grading and leveling before I get in there. So let's get that done. All right, so pulled up some stuff. These are the kind of rocks that we're dealing with, and if I hit one, it's gonna shred them teeth pretty good bit. Luckily I brought 6 extra ones and some nuts and bolts. So we hit some cedar a while ago. These are doing a lot better, but they curl a lot easier. I'm not sure exactly. I think hitting stumps hurts them pretty bad too. So we're going to go ahead and mulch some of this right here. That way we can make it look pretty good to when he gets here. He's on his way, but they pushed it with a dozer all down through here, so we're going to clean this side up. So it's all the way around here, so we'll see what we can't do in a couple days. This is what I've hit a lot of, cedar. I mean, this is nothing but cedar smell in here. I mean, this is all like cedar in here. Cedar over there, cedar, cedar. Every one of these trees right here is cedar. That's what I've been hitting. But luckily, if they was hardwoods, it would take me at least a week, because these are some big ones. So when he does the piles in, you see how it's just crisscrossed. And so that's what I did, is I came in, I'm just coming in and knocking down. I hate when my mulcher does that. Makes me mad. But so what I'm doing is I'm trying to come in here, and then I can come in later and rake all this with the excavator and break stuff, and then kind of put it where I need to. And I've got some openings right in here, and just kind of throw it down in there and mulch it. So, and then some of the bigger chunks, I'm gonna cut them up. Like all those, there's a bunch out there where I slung them out. I'm gonna cut them up for firewood, so that way I'll have something to stay warm with, but also take and get rid of them. There's a few pieces here and there, but I mean, it just smells so good. So we got to push a little bit down that way. There's, I'd say at least an acre right in here that needs to be mulched, but there's also a bunch of rocks. And then I backed into this one, but there's rock underneath it. So it's just like this whole ledge right in here. There's a ledge, and then I'll have to get on the back side. There's a bunch of rocks. So I'm not sure if it's gonna look good or not, to be honest with you. It's not gonna look like this on the other side, like down that way, because there's so many rocks. So I mean, I can get in here and excavate it, but it'll be thinned out. That's about it. There's a bunch right in here, bunch right in there. So I told him I would push as best as I could with what I got and how I can do it, but we'll see how it goes. So I got more ripped out best I can. I'm just going to come in and mulch what I can, and this dirt, I'm not even sure what to even call it. It's stuff that usually don't perk. It's pretty rough, and big old rocks. Pretty much a big old rock right here. Another rock. So I'm gonna come in and mulch what I got myself, and then push a little bit more, and then we'll have to work on this the rest of the day. I'd like to get all this because this is the biggest part, because everything's pushed. So I'm just going to come in, mulch, and then push where everything needs to go, the dirt and that junk dirt, field dirt. So, and it hit all these little twigs and stuff like that, so that way I ain't got to worry about it. So that way your stuff will look good still, but that's what we got. We got a little bit of chunks where I clean myself out, little areas, and then once I do all that, then I can come in and just blade it just a little bit just to smooth it up. But it's pretty decent for how much time I got into it, but needed help. luckily these are cedar and they're dead. I gotta come back and just, that's why I went up here as best I could, so that way when I go up to it I can just pick up chunks and throw it to the side. But I was over here mulching this corner over here and I was hitting nothing but rock. There's rocks around the trees, on the trees, in the trees, and see, all this is rock. That's all rock right here. It's nothing but rocks. The only thing I can think of is just come in, just rake all this stuff off and leave it at that. At least it'll be thinned out. It's the only thing I can think of. But then I got all this stuff back here, which we wasn't able to get back here, so I didn't know how bad it and thick it was. But once we get on the downslope, it's just saplings and just brush, not pushed dozed trees. So this is where all the dozer pushed everything, is right in here. So I'm gonna have to get in here. But so my plan is to get in here and take these chunks, clean it up, rake everything out best I can, and probably go on the back side so that way I can come in through here, because it's not a lot that I have to do. It's just so thick with this stuff, because I mean it's taken me most of the day to get this far because of stuff like that and all that. So, but I don't have the newest and latest mulching head. But see, all these rocks hurt my feelings. But I was able to get in here, but then rocks right in here, and then maybe a few feet in, and then it's just rocks. So I mean, if I could thin out the thick stuff, then we should be good. He can come spread or whatnot. So that's my problem. So my plan is to just mulch anything and everything I can do, and then see, all this is rock. So, and all this is rock. It's kind of like just patchy rocks. But my problem is on the back side, it looks okay, but some spots got rocks in it. So I think my plan is to get as close as I can and then rip everything down and just kind of walk over it. So like all this, I got dozer stuff all the way down that way. It may take more than I estimated, which I done, he knows that. So, and then we got nothing but cedars right here. It's almost to the point where just rip everything out, cut it up, and then just burn it right where it's at. So we got all kinds of this stuff right in here. So it's just nothing but rock.